Yeah. We always ask everybody.
Okay.
I mean, we're on.
We on? Sure, is my microphone on? Hey.
Testing.
Starcade.
No idea if these work today or not.
Screaming baboon.
Anybody hear us? Anybody see us? Hear us? Anything? Check.
This thing on?
Henry QQ, he's always on it for us. Everything good, he said.
We on fire then?
Look at that. Ended this music right when it needed
Oh,
to be stopped.
right. Hell, I got the drink here. Got the phone here. I even got some notes.
Oh,
Just a
God.
little remind. Why can't? Hey, if I lose a key, I can.
What are you going to remind yourself to talk about?
Huh?
I mean, what are you going to remind yourself to talk about?
I got no. These are secret. These are the secret kayfabe notes.
I can't believe you have notes. What's happened to this show? Never used to have notes. Now you bring notes.
Well, I hadn't had a show in so long. I forgot about how to do anything and everything. Let's see, I was supposed to look up there.
Well, you're not going to do that.
No.
We all know that.
Talk into this. I was waiting. You know, I went to the Von Lilas refrigerator and got my Diet Pepsi, and then I was waiting for him to bring up the big coffee like he always does, and then he forgot.
I can go get it.
Or he's just ribbing.
I'll go get it here in a little bit.
I'll be here by myself. And I won't know what to do.
Once you start
don't worry.
telling one of your repeat stories, I'll go get it.
Well, I can't be the repeat story because number one thing, we ready to go on this thing?
Well, I mean, we're on
right
now.
Oh, okay. See this right here? This is my key. My key to my car in the Romer Mobile. So I get up to the gym early today, or I get up.
Tell them. You've already told
them.
me.
Yeah, I told you. I get up ready to go to the gym, ready to hang and bang, ready to work on the guns, try to look like Screaming Baboon, like a picture of his biceps. And what do? I can't find my key. So I'm panicking. Now all of a sudden I can't get in the car. I can't drive over here. I can't do anything, and I'm stuck. Look at that. Look at the arm on Screaming Baboon. We'll put him over, but what the hell, right? He was a runner up, Mr. Australia. He didn't win. He was just runner up. And I think the legendary James E. Barnett, before he passed in this world, I think he was one of the head of the officials of the physique contest. I don't think he would give it to him because I think James E. Barnett, I think he wanted sort of like some kind of sexual favors or something like that. But we're not, and we went past 30 seconds and I haven't said one cuss word yet. So
tell your story, your key story.
Oh yeah, I lost. So I couldn't
find gym. You went to the gym.
No, I was wanting to go to the gym.
Wanting to go to the gym. Okay.
So I get up bright and early. So now I'm looking for my key. I'm going, where's my key? Because I got one key to here it is now. I got my one key to the Romer Mobile so I can get around, and I can't find it. So I call Von Lilas up. I'm calling everybody. I said, I lost my key, like a little bitch, you know, and still didn't know where it was. So I'm reliving everything in my life of where I went the last how many hours and stuff, looking at every secret hiding place I had, looking under the toilet paper, inside of my shoe, anywhere in between, and I couldn't find it. So I told Von Lilas about it, and he said, well, just look again. So I guess I looked again, and eventually I found that sumbitch. I found my key right here. Once I found my key, it was the key to my life. It put me in a very, very good mood compared to what it was. I still haven't got my coffee from Von Lilas or anything, and then I'm giving him time to go.
I'm not going right now. We'll get the show going.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about my key. So eventually I found my key. I was trying to clean something up. So I put a thing in the little trash bags or whatever. For some reason, I looked in there and there was the key. The key. All of a sudden, my day, which was the shits, all of a sudden became the greatest day of my life because I found my key to the Romer Mobile. So I got here safely. I had to have a mini workout before, and I'll have to have a maxi workout later. But such is life. So I'm in a good mood. And the main thing is right now on step number one of all my notes is I now have my key to the Romer Mobile again. The legendary Scott Romer.
You know, it's always the last place you look. Have you ever noticed that?
Well, I didn't have to look in after.
It's always the last place you look.
I should have looked for the last place first, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'd have known that, I would have.
First of all, he called me at like 8 o'clock this morning. Can't find my key. Can't do the show. Got to do it. Send me a link at home, whatever.
And that would have been
Crying like a little bitch. I said, Rip, it's 8 o'clock. You'll find your key. If it's not locked in the car, check to see if it's locked in the car. It's not in the car. I remember locking it. I had the key. I said, well, it's in your house. You'll find it. Just look. Like, you'll find it. You still have 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I looked every place it wasn't.
And you found it in like 15 minutes after all that crying around.
I can't remember. Well, I do have.
You call me back in like 15 minutes. Found my key. And no shit. You look for it.
No, it wasn't 15 minutes. I got the calls right here, so we
let's
look.
Can
go through. Oh yeah, let's
look.
This is serious airtime now. We're just talking
who gives
about
a rat's ass. We don't have any paid questions.
Yeah, we got
your show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Talk about whatever we want.
Talk about what. Okay.
Hour 9 minutes it took you.
An hour 9 minutes.
Well, we probably talked for at least 9 minutes, so it probably took you an hour.
Yeah. But I was looking.
You were ready to cancel the show, and it took you an hour to find.
Well, I was trying to alert you the serious thing we were going through was what it was.
I wouldn't just had you take an Uber over here.
Oh well, and
you would have paid for it. But...
Oh God, I never paid for an Uber in my life.
Well, it'd been a first.
I
would have taken it out of that private funds we had sent to you.
Is that the sexual favors for the party we had the other night with the women that were a little bit overweight?
Maybe.
I think that was it. Anyway,
I would put Screaming Baboon over, but he wants to be a heel, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna put him over. He wants to be a heel. I mean, look at that heel arm. Look at that.
Holy shit.
Heel rock raised eyebrow.
He is. He's a heel. He speaks more Carney than I do.
Well, all right. Let's see who's here today, man. We got Gregory Mala. Todd Montgomery. I always say Montgomery, but I don't know, Montgomery. Big George in the house, who everybody's like, why are you calling him Big George? He doesn't look that big in the pictures.
Well, the women call him Big George. So if he calls him Big George, we're definitely going to call him Big George because I don't know anything about length or width or whatever, but you know.
Hey, the King and Kathy just watched the RVD interview that we did a couple weeks ago. They liked it. They put it over, said it was very good. If you didn't see it, I don't have the thumbnail for it, but if you didn't see it, we had RVAD on 2 or 3 weeks ago now. 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well,
how long have we been going?
We didn't have 2 shows, so this
3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. This isn't it right here, but go to our channel, watch the RVD interview. It's pretty good stuff. And while I'm talking about that, I signed you up for this Only Wrestlers. So I thought Only Wrestlers was like a sex thing is what I thought it was, like OnlyFans.
Oh, cool.
But I don't think it is. I mean, he promoted on a show. I mean, you had checked out by that time. You're saying you had to leave and all that stuff, so you weren't listening to his plugs. But I set up a Rip Rogers account. I haven't really added anything to it. It got approved. So if you guys can go to onlywrestlers.com, I don't even really know what it is yet.
Is it where I can get some snippets on the side? No,
I don't think it has anything to do with sex. I think it has to do with talking with fans and for you making a little money, but also chats and I don't know what all it is. I don't really know, but we do have an account, a Rip Rogers account. Go see if you can subscribe to Only Wrestlers and find the Rip Rogers page or account or whatever it is. Don't really know yet. I've been out of commission, so we'll get it going though.
Okay, about RVD, about the great RVD.
This isn't kayfabe, is it?
No, he's hurt.
Okay, I didn't know
what I'm saying.
I didn't know if you were allowed to
Rob
say that.
Van Dam.
I didn't know if you were allowed to say that.
Well, I'm saying it. He got hurt, and he was wrestling with Matt Riddle. But Big George called me and told me
no show Matt Riddle.
Yeah, he called and said he got hurt. I think he said he broke one heel, or I think he said both heels, and Rob was in a wheelchair. Now, the thing about Rob being in a wheelchair is he's going to have all these doctor bills, etc. And also, he was supposed to work all these shows that were in Las Vegas leading up to WrestleMania. So he's missing out. Hell, he's in a wheelchair. Now, this is all according to Big George. That he's in a wheelchair. He's got 2 broken heels.
It's all kayfabe.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. Hope nobody's watching this show.
Well, anyway. We're hoping for a speedy recovery for Rob is what we're doing. And because he was great to have on the show, and then to run into that kind of bad luck and to get hurt in the ring wrestling when this is what we do for a living is just, it's like a knocking the head to us. But to be in a wheelchair like that, man,
Agree. Yeah. We hadn't had a show since Rob Van Dam was on. So I know we kind of ended that last show very abruptly and apologize for that. But man, that was great to have him on. I thought he was awesome on here. He gave us a lot of time. He gave us a lot of info, a lot of answers. Like he was very into his answers and very talkative and just awesome to have on here. So thanks again to RVD and whoever won the picture. I can't remember who won the picture. I know Big George had that set up to where I think that who was it? It was our West Coast guy, I think. It wasn't Steven. Who won the picture? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
I can't remember. Well, now you're like me.
As soon as I see the name on here,
now
I'll
you're
probably.
Like me. You can't.
What Stephen? Was it Stephen Keys that won? I can't remember. Somebody won it anyway. Hope you got the picture, man. If you got the picture, great. If not, we'll blame Big George.
Yeah. Hey.
Pinion Haver in the house. Longest living member in green in the house. Screaming Baboon in green. Big George in green. 70QQ. Talion's in the house. Shane Parks. Maybe that's who won the picture.
Okay.
Could have been Shane Parks. Morning, gentlemen. He's in green. Who else we got? Frank's Pickle Barrel ass in here. Yo, Ripper and Chopper. Shopping with my girls for Easter clothes. Have a great Easter. How about Easter? There's WrestleMania, Rip. How about WrestleMania being on Easter Sunday?
Oh,
kind of different, huh?
That's real different. I mean, I'd have to boycott it because you should
Remember
be in
this,
church.
Don't forget this.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah, if you're a Catholic, which I am, if you don't go to mass on Easter Sunday, you're immediately going downstairs.
So are you going to church on Sunday?
Well, maybe I'll go Saturday night because you can. In the Saturday, we sort of fix it so you can go Saturday and have and get out early, like 6 o'clock mass or something, and it counts for Sunday.
So are you really going Saturday?
No, but it's
now you just lied about it. You said if you don't go on Sunday, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
And now you just lied about going on Sunday. So that's double hell for you then.
Maybe triple.
I will be going on Saturday, not Sunday.
Oh, so the guys that broke off from the Catholic Church, the Martin Luther, whatever they are, they broke off and stole some because they had you had the horny preachers and stuff, and all they had to get married. Why the Catholic priests they were out there and they wouldn't have any. Well, I guess they would have some young boy or whatever, but none of them are allowed to get married, and all you Lutheran preachers, all you are is just going out with women.
Well, I don't know about that, but we're going on Saturday to not have to go when all the people that never go on Sunday, and
you got to go once a year to
packed. So we'll go Saturday night. Rip has all the WrestleMania finishes. Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna go over WrestleMania here a little bit. Stream Baboon said he's doing biceps right now.
He don't need to.
Talion said I need to get you some coffee.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that call.
70QQ said if you can't find your keys, always look in the trash.
That's where I looked, and that's where it was. I said, "Oh my God!" All of a sudden, the day became great because I found my key single. That was the only key I had. I didn't have any more for that car.
Well, you knew it was in the house. So.
Yeah, I knew it was in the house. I didn't panic at all. Yeah, right. Okay.
Big George, a member for 2 months today, it says. Cena or Cody. We're going to get to the WrestleMania predictions, George. Just hold your horses, man.
Yeah. We got to have George's expert opinion.
Patrick Young in the house in green said class is ready to go. And he also said Shane Parks was the winner. All right.
Okay. Don't get any better than that.
Screaming Baboons, Catholic with you, Rip. All right, let's not forget Tony Khan. If he's having to watch this show, give Rip a job.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on a job for Tony Khan.
Here you go.
I don't think maybe I'm not qualified enough.
Could be it.
Yeah, it could be it. Yeah.
You got a T-shirt. Anybody want to get an Easter T-shirt? There's the pro wrestling or wrestling with Rip Rogers.
Got to get a pro wrestling
T-shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com.
ProWrestlingTees.com. Baby.
Now here's Rip's old book, not to get confused with his new book that looks exactly the same, but except for a sticker on it.
It's got 50 extra pages, more stories, and I'm working on another book.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What kind of book is it?
Well, it's going to be completely different from though. This is more of a biography and stuff.
Is it going to have the same cover?
No.
You're not going for the trifecta, the 3-book same cover look. So this is it a biography or an autobiography?
No, autobiography is I write it.
Oh, so you're not writing? You're not writing?
No, what I'm doing is guys asking me questions, and then he's doing like this on the phone. So I've had 5 or 6 sessions with him. I've probably put in about 10 hours over the phone with him.
I can't believe nobody's ever done a book. Like we've talked about it in the past, and you had people I know mention it to you in the past. How you just never pulled the trigger on it, or just never came to fruition, or whatever that word
well,
is?
If I can't find my keys
in the microphone room.
If I can't find my keys, and that's a little bit stressful for me, and everything I got cook's got to be in the microwave. So
it has nothing to do with my question. You're not writing the book. You're just sitting there telling people a story.
Yeah,
so why?
It's not an autobiography. It's just a biography.
It's just never happened, though. I'm saying I can't believe you're 70 years old and it's never happened before.
Well, do you got a book out?
I'm not. I'm nobody.
Does the King have a book out?
King's
the
not
King.
famous. You're Rip Rogers, man. You're the hustler. You've been all over the world.
Yeah, and
coast to coast.
That and the $1.99 will get you a cup of coffee, which I'm still waiting on my cup of coffee here. I don't even want to say anything about that.
I mean, you get so stressed out about everything. I hate to get up and leave you.
Yeah.
Kind of a little baby, you know.
No, I'm a bitch.
Big baby.
Yeah, big baby.
Check this out.
Okay, what we checking?
Side saying it doesn't seem like you're picking this up. You're doing the drills, you're doing everything, and we had 3 or 4 days of practice a week, but also Mike Mondo had the key to the gym, and he would come in with me 2 or 3 days a week after Lance Storm's class and just reiterate Lance Storm's class to me. And then there's that off and on. No one is allowed in Rip Rogers' class. Rip Rogers is dead to WWE. Rip Rogers is fired. No one is to have contact with him. Also, you should go to Rip Rogers' class and learn. And that was very much over the like the Al Snow story of OVW, to where some weeks he's fired, no one is to go near him, and you'll be fired. And some weeks it's like, why is no one learning from him? So I always was secretly learning from him 1 or 2 days a week also. So I was trying to my goal was to get like 2 years of training in 5 or 6 months, because I was the only one at the time in that class who had not come from independent, and everybody seemed so much better than me, and I was trying to get better as fast as I could. So it was like,
how about that? Nick Nemeth on the Timmy Baltimore show. Limping ain't easy. Timmy Baltimore has been a host of this show. If you've not subscribed to his YouTube channel, Limping Ain't Easy, man, he's had some good guests on there. Nick Nemeth, I know, I think Matt Cardona was on there. EC3's been on there. He's had some good guests so far, so go check out Timmy. But how about Nick Nemeth there kind of putting you over, Rip, saying, he got started in, and at the time, WWE was like, stay away from Rip Rogers. Hey, why is nobody going to Rip Rogers? Yeah. He said he was secretly coming to your class. I remember a lot of people would sneak into your class hoping nobody would notice when you were not, coaching the contract guys anymore.
I think, I got 70 guys jobs.
Yeah.
The guys that weren't signed. It wasn't the Brocks. It wasn't the Batista, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think they've signed 70 people since I quit or got fired. One of the many times of having 70 people brought up from their developmental. Could be wrong, but hell, I don't know.
Well, that wasn't the question. What do you think about Nemeth? Do you remember Nick coming to your class? What did you think of Nick Nemeth? I thought it was pretty cool that he was.
I remember the first day he come in, because he come in and Bobby Lashley come in.
He said that he didn't get hired that day.
Okay.
He said him and Lashley had a tryout.
Okay.
And they hired Lashley and not him. And he's like, well, I would have hired Lashley too. Just look at us. Who would you have picked between me and Bobby Lashley?
You already got it's easier to learn to work than to get that body.
And Lashley was an amateur wrestler too, though.
Oh yeah.
So he had a wrestling background.
He was overqualified.
Yeah. Well, he was. Hope he ain't watching the show, but Lashley was pretty rotten in the ring in the beginning.
Well, he had to be.
Well, I don't think Nemeth was. I don't think.
Well, Nick was just, you could tell he was so athletic.
Some people are more naturally, like, it's so weird to me. I'll use Jamie Wingler as an example. Jamie Wingler was a very good heavyweight college wrestler, but you get him on like a court or in a ring or like trying to do a wrestling, most uncoordinated person ever. Like, I think there's just so much different movements and mannerisms and footwork or whatever between amateur and professional.
Oh, you're right.
And I don't think they all translate. Like at the time, Bobby Lashley, I just remember how awkward he was watching him. But I don't feel like Nick Nemeth was ever like that. I feel like he was just a natural from day one. My opinion. I don't know.
Okay.
Nothing shit on Lashley. I think
No.
Lashley's great now.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying he was pretty rusty in the beginning,
Well, like
which most people are. But you think somebody that athletic with an amateur style, it would just automatically translate, and it doesn't always do that.
Yeah, a lot of guys, like my favorite sport, even though I wasn't worth a shit, was basketball. And then when I got into wrestling, and then it took a while, probably at the 2-year mark, I was very comfortable in the ring. But not going to a wrestling school, I didn't know not one thing. So you talk about being the shits. You talk about having to, everything you do has got to be corrected. So it happened to me, but you can get better.
Vito's got a good comment here. Remember No Neck Keck? Remember Brian Keck,
I remember the name.
short dude that had zero neck. You would call him No Neck.
No Neck Keck.
Keck, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't translate so great. Well, Eric, we got a missed one of these here. Big George, $1.99 super sticker. Get our super chat. Getting a good one. Thanks, Big George. Who would win between Rip and Young Mighty Joe?
Well, it'd be Young Mighty Joe, but you'd have to pay me a whole lot more money. So I'm counting the money. I don't give a shit about losing. I can lose in 1 hour. I can lose in 7 seconds. It doesn't matter to me. So Mighty Joe, Young Mighty Joe is going to be over in a match between me and him, but you're going to have to pay me a whole lot more money.
So you never minded losing. Is that what you're saying?
No, what it is usually the guys you're putting over, you're better than them.
Correct.
And so it's my job to make you look as good as you can do and to hide all your weaknesses and to accentuate your strength. So even though you're the shits, you look like you know what you're doing.
I get that, but that wasn't the question.
Oh, what was the question?
Did you mind losing
No.
all the time?
No, didn't give a shit.
Because I listened to that interview with Nemeth,
Mm-hmm.
and what I took from it, I listened to the whole interview, was he ultimately got out of WWE, asked for his release because he knew he was not going to be the guy. At the time, he was on what he called on the bench, on the sidelines, weren't really using him at all. And he basically was tired of losing all the time.
Well, he made a lot of money losing, but you would have made a whole lot more winning.
True.
So, but if you're already rich, you can say, hey, I'm going to go somewhere else because I'm already set for life financially. And I want a chance to work on top, make a name for myself, because you're going there. And Nick was a great pro. And he's saying, I wish I could have had a chance to play in the major leagues I want to hit fastballs. You know what I mean? But so now he's getting a chance. So if you're already rich, it doesn't matter. The object is to have enough money where you can pay more than a partial electric bill payment and a partial phone bill payment or whatever. But in the back of your mind saying, well, I don't know if I'll ever get that chance to draw. And I just want the chance to draw. If you give me that chance, and I said, okay, you gave me the chance. Okay. I'm already rich anyway, so I'll just go out and have more girls because he's a hot guy, hot body, you know. Superstar, saved his money.
You think he's hot?
If I was a girl, but I'm not a girl. I'm 71. I've never touched another man's snabits, fabits, or had any kind of homosexual experience yet.
Never?
Never.
You said yet.
Yet, yeah. Well, you never know.
I think there was a rumor out there about you once.
No, you're
No?
making something
No,
up.
I think there was.
Well, if somebody would offer me the most money, we could go, just turn the lights down low, right?
But that's never happened?
No. Now, if Mr. Barnett would have come through with a nice offer, like to make me, Ripley, I think we should make you the champion, my boy. Well, Jimbo, what are we negotiating with? You know, then I could get a little fluff and act like I was going, okay, fave that Ripley, you know. Anyway.
$5 super chat, Drew Wilson. Hey, Rip, memories of wrestling Barbarian on WCW Saturday night. You put him over.
I know it was quick, to the point. I didn't hurt him. He didn't hurt me. And I went, thank you very much, Barbie. He was a joy to be in the ring with. Some matches look like shit and they're knocking the shit out of you. But with Barbie, he was barely touching you and looked like he was killing you. And that was my kind of match.
Was he pretty nice?
Oh, yeah. He was. Oh, he's always been one of the nicest guys.
We met him at that one, or I met him. You've
Mhm.
seen him, or you know him.
Yeah.
I met him. We talked to him at that one
Yeah.
convention or whatever.
Mhm.
Seemed very cool.
Yeah.
Warlord was awesome too. They were both very
Yeah.
down to earth, nice.
Yeah. I was with Warlord Terry Supinski when he was first starting out in Kansas City. And let's just say since then, he's gotten a lot richer and he's gotten a lot better.
Thank you, Drew Wilson. Appreciate it. All right, let's go. What was this? What was this thing you had me?
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of this comment here. Somehow. Okay, what's this? all about?
Okay, yesterday I go 2 days ago, I go to the P.O. box. And this is in my post office box. Now, this guy right here, Jim Snedden from Salisbury, Pennsylvania, he'll send me those. In 1985, they had all these little cards out. They were like trading cards.
Mhm.
And you'll see on the internet, this one's worth $200. This one's worth $365. This one's worth $400. It was all come out in 1985. And I had some out with me, and I had one with Bugsy McGraw and with Eder, whatever. So what he does, he'll send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and then and he stuffs money in there, which I require him to do. And then I sign his thing, stick it back in, and mail it back into him. So I got to the post office. I'm looking at this. The post office had put it in somebody else's in their box. So I'm pulling this out. It says it was put in my post office box, and then but everything's in there. Blah 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 blah.
Was there money in there?
Yes.
And they left the money in there?
Yeah, he left
Uh-huh.
everything in there. So I took it out, and I took it back to the post office and mailed it back to Jim, like I do every time he sends me something. But what happened is it got there like the 4th of this month. So he's going, what the hell? Was what he's saying, because they put it in the wrong post office box. So I went to some guy, and he took it home and looked at it, realized whatever, eventually brought it back, and they put it in my P.O. box. So Jim in Salisbury, Pennsylvania, is still waiting for it, but it's mailed out, so it's coming your way. He's thinking, oh, that son of a bitch probably screwed me, didn't he?
Wow.
Stuff like this. But no, it's coming, Jimmy. It's on his way. Now, here's the thing. He always give me the self-addressed stamped envelopes. So it was a bubble envelope or whatever. So in other words, they had to charge me for it. I said, well, send it to him collector. That's it. But anyway, you're going to learn about all this stuff. And Jimmy, waiting on your stuff, and your signed little card from 1985, me against Bugsy McGraw, is on its way.
Wow. Awesome. While we've been away, we had some sad news from the old OVW here. Former OVW original Guido Andretti passed away, Rip. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, I seen that. And I was with Vito the other day.
Any memories of Guido, Rip?
I just knew he's potatoing people all the time.
Yeah, that's
That's all I could.
when OVW left and went. When WWE left and went to Florida,
Uh-huh.
and OVW kept going. A lot of those original guys, Jason Lee, David C.,
Mhm.
I think Chris Alexander, the Andrettis. I don't know if Vito came back, but Guido came back. And I remember, I never wrestled him, but man, I remember he was beating up some people, or at least
It looked like it.
laying them in there.
Mhm.
Pretty good.
There's two kinds of beating up. Some of them is to hit you hard in a safe place. I don't want that. I want you to be able to hit me without touching me in the nose and in the mouth.
Yeah.
Not in the top of your head where you break your hand and stuff like that. Or I don't know. Why would I hit somebody safe in a fight? I'd be hitting you where that was open and where I'd have soft tissue. So that's like in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, some asshole threw a beer in my face. He threw a beer in my safe. What'd I do? I turned around to boom. He put his head down. What I do? Broke my broke my hand. So that hand lasted about 2 days in the cast before I cut that son of a bitch off and just started working. But I learned, okay, when you turn around, don't just throw, look, go for soft tissue, or you'll break your hand like I did, like a dumbass.
How about that? Good story, Rip. Good life lesson there. Patrick Young, $1.99 super chat. Ever meet, I think, meant a Johnny Ringo from RVA.
I don't know. Anyway, hey, you guys are allowed to proofread before you send something. Ever meant a Johnny Ringo from RVA Rip? Patrick Young? No. I meant a Johnny Ringo from a RVA Rip? No. So all I can tell
You know Johnny Ringo?
No.
No.
No, the Johnny Ringo was in Tombstone, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the cowboy.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a movie guy, Rip.
Oh,
Tombstone, I guess. I don't know. Have you ever meant? Oh, he just redid it and
have you ever meant?
did the same thing. Have you ever?
Have you every meant? Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, Patrick does not speak English.
Maybe English isn't his first language.
Yeah, it's probably his second language or third language. Just like I can say "Como está usted?" I can say "Du toi?" I can say "Eins, zwei, drei."
What do you think RVA is?
I don't know.
What's RVA, Patrick Young?
Ruva or is that an AVR?
And is it a Johnny Ringo? Like you're comparing somebody to the movie person, or is it really Johnny Ringo? I guess would be the other question. All right, what else we got going on today, Rip?
Well, I just know that.
Get to some of your notes, man.
Well, I was trying to get to my notes, but we was getting stuff of how.
Do your notes. I'll go make a coffee.
Okay, I did. I already talked about the key. I talked about RVD being hurt. I talked about the trading card gimmick. Now I'm going to talk about Jay Goodley. Jay Goodley was the announcer in Championship Wrestling from Florida when I was there in 1985. He reached out to me at the day at the gym when I was training, and he was pulled into the gym, and he's getting ready to train too. So the last time I seen him in person was 1985. So that's what, 40? Let me see, 15. That's 40 years ago. So I'm still kicking. He's still kicking. He's still training, and I'm still training. So just wanted to say hello to the great Jay Goodley, the Tampa wrestling announcer from Championship Wrestling from Florida. So Jay, peace. Be sure and watch Wrestling with Rip Rogers. Well, we're usually sometimes we're Fridays, sometimes we're who knows. You just got to pay attention to it because we got such a busy schedule. Anyway, earlier in the program, we saw the picture of Screaming Baboon. Now, Screaming Baboon, he's in Australia. Screaming Baboon's got the big arms. He's jacked. I was talking about he knows more carny than I do. He loves his professional wrestling. I think he spends a lot of time talking to me. I don't know if he's I think he's just doing that because his arm is bigger than mine. He's got more women than me. He makes more money than me. He's on the hit parade, and he's just world's greatest wrestling fan and loves professional wrestling. So that's the old Screaming Baboon. You saw that picture earlier. And I'm still dumbfounded. I'm still talking about how I lost the key today. So that's always a plus, but let you know right here, I did find the key. And then I was looking at this. This was the old Bad Boys of Professional Wrestling. This is the old video. I think it was about 1989, whatever, but it had the picture of Ivan Koloff on there. It had a picture of me down there in the corner when I was wrestling in Puerto Rico. It had a picture of the Great Muda, had a picture of Randy Savage, and it had a picture of Abdullah the Butcher. Now, Abdullah the Butcher, he's still alive. He's still kicking. I never thought he'd been alive this long because he's way older than me. He's 80-some years old, and he was always really heavy. Never seen him exercise, and now he's trying to exercise. Might be too late. His inside should be destroyed. But Abdullah the Butcher, I watched him on a match today, and blood in every match. That was his thing. But he grew up in working for the Sheik, and he idolized the Sheik. So the Sheik was always the original Sheik, that is, from Detroit, and he always had blood in his matches. So in every one of Abdullah's matches, you're not going to see a headlock. You're not going to see a high spot. You're just going to see blood, and more blood. Now, I teamed with Abdullah working for Bob Geigel in Kansas City, and I teamed with Abdullah working for Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico. But he's good. I keep waiting for him to take the big heart attack. Boom. But anyway, in today's wrestling world, we got basically we got AEW and we got WWE. Now WWE does their whole thing, and it's more storytelling. Why AEW, let's just say you have more freedom. So every match is a lot of times almost the same, doing too much stuff. Guys working 100 miles an hour, and they're working 100 miles an hour because they want to get their shit in. And when I was in my 20s, just like everybody else, you want to see your stuff on tape. You want to see your stuff on video. You want to see how stuff looks. And then you're more critical to yourself than anybody. But the two big boys of AEW and WWE, they got two different styles. They're both successful, or at least they're still in business right now. And here comes my coffee. I'm going to burn my mouth on that. Well, I'll burn the top of my plate thing or whatever. But Bon Lies made it back. He wanted to see if I could live or die on this thing, and I didn't die yet. So he's the man behind the brains of all the questions. Now here's Shane Parks. He threw $5 our way with the super sticker, baby. It don't get any better than that.
Here's a question he's got.
Okay.
Ever team with George Steele?
No, I didn't team with George Steele, but I did work with George Steele when I went to the WWF when I was first starting. And when I worked with George Steele, which was cool, he was a school teacher. I was a school teacher. The guy that went with us, Hoss Tweed, was Ed Kerner from Seymour, Indiana. He was a school teacher. So me and George just talk about being a school teacher. And then we got in the ring. George hit me with a big green mist. And then he put me in the hammer lock where you, let's just say I thought he broke my arm. So George is a big, strong guy. And George was a real football coach and was with WWE for years and years and years. And to watch him play his gimmick is just, and then when you watch him just break character and talk to you like a regular guy, that was awesome. But I didn't team with George Steele, but I did wrestle against George Steele, and I was just, wow. It was just awesome.
Thank you, Shane Parks. Appreciate that. Big George sent a 99-cent super sticker as well. RVA is Richmond, Virginia, Rip. Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. So what did he ask about Richmond, Virginia?
If you know Johnny Ringo or whatever that guy was. Who was he?
Well, I was talking about Johnny Ringo that was in the
movie.
The movie.
Have you ever met the movie guy, I guess?
No, but he was the guy that he got shot and he croaked at the end.
He does speak English too, it appears. Patrick Young, he said, I'm just stupid. RVA is Richmond, Virginia. You're not stupid, Patrick Young. We're just giving you a hard time.
Well, I got the gimmick for being stupid. Hey, now see, I'll get right in here on nationwide, whatever we are. Worldwide,
baby.
Worldwide. And I'll tell you, I'm missing a card. Not too many 71-year-olds will tell you, no, I'm stupid. You take me out of my comfort zone, I'm completely screwed. and things happen with me, like something happens with my phone, don't know what to do. I figured it out now, turn it off and turn it back on. It usually not bad. It usually works a lot of times. I got Vaughn Lawless, who's one of my adopted sons, and he can lead me through life since I known him since he was born, I think. And the proof of that was the picture with Vaughn Lawless on my neck years ago. Oh God, look at the buy. It's above average. So what? Oh, it's 71. What the hell?
I don't think you need to tell people that you're missing a card. I think everybody
know that.
I think everybody knows that already.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
not some big worldwide announcement here.
Okay, look at Screaming Baboon saying, "Did I ever wrestle Abdullah Rip? He's full of disease and hepatitis." Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing that I looked at when I saw I saw that actual match with Hannibal. It was wow. I looked at it and I just shook my head. Ladies and gentlemen, my match is entertainment. It will never be happening in my match at all. Yeah, but Hannibal, he got hepatitis when he wrestled with Abdullah the Butcher. I watched it, but I couldn't make it all the way through. I got disgusted with it. I said, no, that ain't me.
Do you know Carl Potter, Rip?
Carl Potter.
Yeah. Do you know him?
No.
All right. He's not agreeing. He's not paying for the question, but he might be a newbie. I'm going to put him on here just because.
Okay.
Maybe he'll join in the fun. Plus, I was always a big Paul Christie fan. He said, "Why was Paul Christie on the WWF Titan talk show doing magic?" I don't remember that.
Paul Christie
kind of seemed like a rib when he was a jobber, or were they seeing how good he was talking?
No, here's the thing. Paul Christie was the reason I met Randy Savage and went to the Maritimes with him, and then had friendship, whatever, blah, blah, blah with him. He was in the clique, Paul Christie was. He traveled with the Poffos, and he was from Downers Grove, Illinois. And he got the job because he knew Randy and Titan is what it was. And he always did magic when he would be working for Dick the Bruiser. It doesn't matter. He was just there to get a cup of coffee in the WWF at that time. And the reason he was there because he had helped Randy a lot in the business. Randy had helped him, and that's what it was. In the wrestling business, like any business, it's all who you know.
$1.99. George Lambert, thoughts on the Savage Steamboat WrestleMania Classic?
Okay, we're talking about the match where Randy had scripted a match, and when that happened and everybody told me it was scripted, I refused to believe it, because I'd been pretty much trained by Randy and his family and hanging around, and I never done a scripted match in my life. And I just refused to believe that he did it. But I guess he did do it. And anything Randy he would do, he would be like me. He would go full bore. And once he did that thing with Steamboat, of course, Steamboat was one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. And you can go through a scripted match, but the timing's not really there. And what happens if number 89 don't work, or 93 don't work, or you got confused on what the number was? They were trying to do something special, and they did do it, and they did it on the night that Andre the Giant was against Hogan. So in other words, that stole the show, because in Andre and Hogan, all they wanted to do,
keep going.
Okay, all they wanted to see was whoever slammed somebody, that was the winner. So Hogan slammed Andre, so he was the winner. But the Randy and Steamboat thing, that's etched in everybody's mind. And now everybody else has scripted matches and write this down, and agents tell you what to do. Where before, you just would know who to work with. You knew how to work. If I was going an hour with you, I knew what you could do. And you just knew how to do that, because I would be teaching that when I was teaching wrestling. Whether it's an hour, I had how many guys do 2 hours too? You didn't ever have to do the hour, did you?
No.
But nobody wanted to do the hour because, oh, you think it was so hard, but you're just doing arm, leg, neck, stomach, back match, getting heat and dominating with an anchor. It's really easier than shit. But you're just like this. You're dumbfounded. But once you do it, you said, man, I hardly broke a sweat. And it was easy out there. And then once you start doing them all the time, a lot of times I'd have Damian Adams take Donna Perazzo to seminars and stuff, and they do it. And Mondo would do them. Mike did a lot of hour matches. But in OVW, if you was in my class, you was expected to do it. Just it's for a mental thing to show you how good you are. And if you're signed with the big time, and if I trained you, you was better than the guys under contract. Excuse me, I made you goddamn good, and I took it fucking personal. I pushed you and yelled and screamed and whatever because I wanted to make you good. Because just think, all the guys they chose, and they're getting paid money to learn, and you're Santino had 4 guys in his apartment, Armando Estrada, like Serena Deeb, like JTG, like the Beast, and the list goes on and on. These guys paid to learn, and they all made the big time too. And was I a big part of getting you there? Hell yes. But if you could survive me, if the girls could survive me, of all the names I was calling them and whatever, then you as sure as hell making WWE was easy. If you understood all that.
Talyon said, who's better, Savage or Steamboat?
Well, I'd have to say Savage, because Steamboat was never a heel. If you can't see, the babyface listens to the heel. And then if the heel can call the match, usually you start out as a babyface because you're the shits. Then in a couple of years, you want to turn heel because you're the maestro in that ring. You're the captain in that ring. You're the guy, you're the quarterback of that ring, is the heel. If you can't do nothing, I should be able to have a half-hour match, and you know 3 or 4 things, and that's it. I'll have a match with myself. But that's how you get good. And I don't even think guys are really asked to do an hour match anymore, unless it's how many different falls. So the more falls you have, the more rest period you got in between. So that's pretty bogus. But I had a 90-minute match with Adam Revolver and Man Beast at a seminar in OVW, and we put it on. You can find it on the internet. 90-minute match seminar, Rip Rogers, OVW, or whatever, and you can watch that. But it's a 90-minute match with an audience there. And when it was over, they said we could have went about a half hour more. I said, I know you could have. Once you learn the recipe, you can become a good cook.
Shane Parks in green said he did get his RVD picture. So awesome, Shane Parks. Talyon says he tried to be in green but can't. I'm gonna share my screen here. Hopefully, if I can
get a drum roll going here.
All right, Shane, or not Shane, but Talyon. If you go to your desktop, I don't know about from your phone, but if you go to a desktop computer and you go to our channel right here, Wrestling with Rip Rogers, see this button right here that says join? That is to become a member. You click on this join button. That goes for anybody out there that wants to be in green and be a member of the Rip Rogers Live show. You go to the channel, but I think it has to be on a desktop computer. I don't know that for sure. You click on this join. Now, sometimes it used to be on a phone that if you clicked on subscribe, or if it was already subscribed, join would come up here. I don't know if that still works or not, but this is how you become a member right here. Join that, and you're in, baby.
So we get
you got that, Rip?
No, I didn't get none of it. I wasn't trying to join.
All right. Remember you tried? Oh no, you tried to subscribe our first episodes when they wanted all that pertinent information. You always said.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. A lot of stuff, somebody will ask me something and I'll push the thing, but they want some kind of stuff. They want information or this or that, or I said, nah, whatever it is.
Screaming Baboon, did you ever get color, Rip?
First of all,
what'd you do in Puerto Rico when they told you to cut yourself?
I was the boss. I did it if I wanted to. So that ends that. So I'd usually have the baby face to do it because they were going to win and they get the sympathy. Of
And
course,
you didn't want to get color.
well, and then I remember I got it like I was somewhere and I got it like I think it might have been Puerto Rico and I got it like 7 days in a row.
Mm.
But what I did, I got it once, and each day when I'd start sweating and then you'd bust me, then it would come out. So that's the good way to do it. Do it once and then and then do it how many days in a row, and it just keeps coming. So that's one of the secrets. That's one of the easy things. Now, when I wrestled Lanny Poffo in the Eye of the Tiger match, he got blood, but we hard weighed each other. So when I'm headbutting him in the eyes, which I really did, and his eyes in the next week just turned black, and his eyes were so swollen, and then the blood didn't roll down. The blood was just like coming out in little clumps, and his like the top of his eyebrow, he was just all swollen. He looked, it was grotesque looking. So I was headbutting him and I'm hitting him with my hand. I'm hurting my hand more than anything. And finally he said, "It's enough. That's enough. I can't take no more."
Young Monty Joe keeps asking about a masked wrestler called Devil Blue. Do you know anything about
Devil Blue was Tony Marino. Tony Marino, who I was with, he used to ride with me when I was working for Ole, and he was Devil Blue. What he was Tony Marino. He was used to do like a Mr. America gimmick years ago. He was really, hell, he must have been 60 then, and he was jacked. I think he's still alive. Was 93 or something like that. But yeah, he was Tony Marino. That was him under the hood, and he had that great body. He used to ride with me in the van. I remember.
Is there another like Marino or something, like an Italian guy?
Well, Marino is Italian.
I know, but another.
Well, there's Steve Marino from Louisville, but I can't remember what his working name is.
Did he wrestle at OVW?
Yes. Yeah. Steve Marino.
I think it was Steve Marino.
Yeah. Okay. But Tony Marino was the original. He was the original Marino, and he was a wrestler for years and years.
Who was the Italian stallion?
That was Gary Sabog. He was the Italian stallion. And he worked as he didn't work as Gary. He's the Italian stallion, but sometimes they called him Gary Cortinelli. But he had that huge head, and he would bring a bunch of guys to TV all the time, and he'd take a lot of their money and charge them trans, and Ole always liked him. Gary Sabog, the Italian stallion, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that guy in OVW might have called. Did he ever go by the Italian stallion?
I don't think so.
That other Marino guy?
He might have. I don't know. I'm lucky if I remember anything.
What else we got here? There was a Marino jobber in the WWF in the early 80s. I think that was, I don't know. There was a Marino. I don't know. No, I'm not thinking Carino or no. Shane Parks Rip in WCW. Shane Parks in green. Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez were tag champs. Did you put them together along with Paul Jones?
No, I wasn't. No, They was there when they was working for Crockett. So that would have been Dusty would have been the booker. So that would have been Dusty putting them together with Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez.
George said Tony passed in 2021 from injuries in a fight with Carlos Quintada.
Hell, he must have been how old? We're talking about Tony Marino. Hell, he must have been 90-something years old. But he was always a tough guy. He was always a good guy to have around.
His machine said JT Smith was the Italian stallion in ECW.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the Italian stallion in ECW, but I wasn't. Who had the better heart punch? Ox Baker or Stan Stasiak? That's what Shane Parks is asking. Well, Foxy Oxy, actually 2 guys died from being in the ring with Ox Baker. They had heart attacks after the matches was over. And Stan Stasiak never really killed anybody. But if you're a big guy and there isn't nobody doing the heart punch, tape that fist up right there, hit him the one time, carry you out, and you're over with the heart punch, ladies and gentlemen. So Oxy was over with the heart punch, and Stan Stasiak was over with the heart punch. So hell, it must have worked, right? So what the hell?
Thought we could see our picture here still, but it must not have this set up right. Oh well. WrestleMania Night 1 Rip. Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Do you know who those guys are?
I know who Rey Mysterio is, but I don't know who El Grande.
Chad Gable.
Oh, okay.
Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Big tag team championship match. War Raiders against the New Day. New Day's been there about 2 decades. United States Championship match. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther versus Jey Uso. Women's Championship match. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. And then you got Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Night 1. Any of those stand out to you? Any big predictions? Anything on any of these star-studded matches?
Well,
Rip?
usually in WrestleMania, which is the big show, again, it's baby faces go over. And then you can always start rebuilding the heel the next night on Raw. But usually on a big match like that, you want to send the people home happy. So we'll wait and see.
Well, I don't know who would go over in the last match. And Roman Reigns, kind of a babyface. I think CM Punk, kind of a babyface. Seth Rollins, kind of a babyface in some ways. All ways, maybe. I don't know. I want to see the only match I really want to see out of that's Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. It's the only one I really want to watch. None of the other ones really do much for me. Jade Cargill, she been in touch with you, Rip? Has she asked for any WrestleMania advice from you?
No, she didn't ask for any. She got where she wanted, so she's doing fine. So what the hell?
Night 2, there's 2 nights now. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. The big women's tag match, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Bayley and Lila Valkyria. Fatal 4-way. They got a lot of triple threats and fatal 4-ways. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Triple threat match for the women's. Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. And then the big one, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, Rip. Any of those sticking out to you? Any predictions you want to make there?
Well, can you put that back on there?
Sure.
This will go on. The triple threat match for Women's World Championship will be so rotten.
You think?
Yes. Because you got 3 girls in there. They probably never done it in their life. And then what you do is people are going to be like this. But that's what you want. So you got Cena and Cody at the end.
No, I don't know. See, this match is not in order.
Okay.
So I don't know that's
Okay.
really the order or not.
Okay.
What's your prediction on Cena versus Cody? Is Cena going to win? Is he going to be the champion for the 17th time and break Ric Flair's record or whatever it is?
Usually they have babyface over.
Give us a prediction. They're both
Okay, babyface over.
Well, I guess Cena's not a babyface. So you say Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because Cena's career is basically over.
Well, yeah, that's his retirement tour.
Yes.
You don't think he's going to win?
No, I think
He still has I think he's wrestling until the end of the year. So what's he going to do for the next 5 months? Keep chasing?
Well, he can do whatever. He can be running in the other thing, and all of a sudden he can be a babyface again. It's like back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth.
I'm kind of thinking Cena's going to win. You heard it here first. John Cena win.
Yeah.
Winner.
On Lila's prediction, John Cena is going to win.
It's my prediction.
Well, your predictions have always pretty much been there, and mine hadn't. So, what the hell?
Scream Baboon says, "Rip, did Ox Baker ever cook for you?"
Yeah. When we was living in Atlanta, staying at Miss T's place,
And then do that one next.
Talila was that was Talila Bell. But Ox would cook for me a lot, and when he would cook, he would sing. So he was like in the apartment next to mine, and pretty much all the wrestlers stayed there. So it was cool. So there was the meeting place right there. The guys was there to hang out, this and that. So you got all your rides scheduled with whatever. But Foxy Oxy, he was a hell of a cook, and he always wanted you to sample it. If you give him a couple bucks, he would give you a lot of food. And I wasn't training for bodybuilding, so at that time I might as well try out all Foxy Oxy's chef Ox Baker to try out his stuff, and I did. So Foxy Oxy was a great cook. We had fun, and he was always singing. And then I used to rib him. I said, "Ox, you kept me up last night." And then he goes, "What happened?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Was you was hitting your old lady? She was going, oh." He goes, "Well, you know, a stud's a stud," he'd say. So what the hell, right? I got a question from Drew Wilson here. He says, "Rip, in your opinion, how does today's wrestling boom hold up to the Hogan era or Attitude era? Do you think there will be podcasts about this era in years to come?" There's always going to be podcasts. You're going to talk about what was happening when you were there, what was happening when you were in the main event, what was happening when there was only this many companies, who was the star at that time, before Hogan, after Hogan, when Vince McMahon made the big time, when he destroyed all the territories, then he had to create developmental to make his own talent because he wanted stuff done a certain way. Doesn't matter if it was wrong, right, or it hadn't been that way. If you're the boss, people work the way the boss wants you to work, or you won't have a job there. So it's best to go in not knowing anything. Then you can work exactly as they want you to work, and you don't have any preconceived motion or notions of what you're supposed to do. A lot of people been through the system. A lot of people had jobs. You do what the boss says in any job, you're going to make this much money. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money because all you got to do is you keep the boss happy. At that time, if you kept Vince McMahon Jr. happy, he was going to reward you in gold with more money than you had ever thought you could have made in your lifetime. That's like the wrestlers today. They make, well, it's just like years ago in the 70s, you played Major League Baseball, you played NFL football, you played NBA basketball. When the season was over, you only got paid during the season, and it wasn't that much money. You had to get a job. So here's Whitey Ford of the Yankees. This is just an example. He's selling insurance. All of a sudden, here's Oscar Robertson, the president of the Players Association in the NBA. He's doing some other job. He's some kind of manager at a factory or something. Now, this is not what they did, but it's just saying you only got paid during the season. And then like Johnny Unitas is playing quarterback and he might be in the Super Bowl. But then all of a sudden he ain't getting paid for another 6 months. So he's got to go out and he's a manager at a root beer stand or whatever, because you need money coming in. And now you're drafted and you're making $40 million a year and you're quarterback. You're just asking. That's right. You're just asking to get in trouble. You got too much money, too much time. You're over so much. And then we all got a little bit of Eddie Haskell in us. So you have all that money, you're going to get in trouble. So when I was wrestling, guys in my era, we never had too much money. We was struggling to make an electric bill payment because we was in love with the business. And if you single, money didn't matter at all. You just wanted to go have fun, go different places, go different territories, go different countries, see all the different styles, copy all this from some new move you saw in Hanover, Germany, you saw in Japan, you saw in South Africa, you saw in Germany or whatever. To me, wrestling was always been the greatest, worst business, but this is what I wanted to do, and I'm still doing it for a lot of years. And you take the good with the bad because you're going to have the good times and you're going to have the bad times.
Rip, did you ever wrestle in the Cow Palace?
I went to the Cow Palace in 1979. This is when they had the territory out there, but then it closed up, and Don Owens was sending some of his guys out there, and then you have Buddy Rose. I remember the first night in, he went out there, and I was going out there, but then Don switched me to the other crew because Don had his tape going there, so they knew who the Portland, Oregon wrestlers were. They knew who Roddy Piper was. They knew who Rotten Ron Starr was. They knew who Adrian Adonis was. They knew all the Portland wrestlers because they had their tape there. Years ago in ICW, when Red Bastien was living out there and training guys like Strangler Steve DeSalvo, and training guys like Sting, and training guys like the Ultimate Warrior, we would send him a tape and he would put it on the San Francisco station at the Cow Palace, and he would send us $200 a week at ICW because they wanted Channel 20 out there in San Francisco. They wanted to have a tape on out there. But the Cow Palace, when it first opened up, it sold out for I don't know how many consecutive weeks. It was the first time they ever had wrestling on TV, and the big stars was Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens. And Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens were some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. So the Cow Palace in wrestling in San Francisco had a whole lot of history.
Screaming Baboon wants to know, when you were WCW, were you under a fat contract, or did you get paid on a nightly basis?
Oh no, you got paid on a nightly basis, and then they would slip money to me under the table and give me extra trans sheets and stuff like that. And then a lot of times Ole would say, you want to go on tour? And if it was close to me, I'd say, yeah. So I'd go on tour and stuff. But I always loved working for WCW.
And you would sign in as Honky Tonk Man. And
oh, yeah.
take his money.
Yeah, that's right. Honky Tonk. Yeah, Honky, that's right. Honky, you had to sign the pay sheet or you wouldn't get paid. So Honky saw Ripper there, sign Honky Tonk Man. So I just signed Wayne Ferris for the pay sheet, and nobody give a shit. You just look the other way. You just worried about your own money. So Honky, he'd get paid a little extra money, and he forgot to be there or wasn't supposed to be there, or whatever. But he'd slip me some, little bukus of money to me. So we had that little thing going there. So you never, all kinds of shit happening things in the world of professional wrestling.
I wonder why he hadn't been in our chat lately. He used to show up in our chat every once in a while,
Well, he will when he has to, it's like handsome. It's like handsome Jimmy, right?
Hansome's never been in our chat.
No, but Jimmy wanted, he said, brother Mark, I gotta eat. He wanted the dinero. He wanted the dinero.
But
baby.
I said in our chat. Remember, he used to show up in the chat, not on our show.
Yeah.
Honky used to be in the chat.
Well, if he was bored, had nothing to do, just happened to be sitting in Arizona with nothing to do, it's a 3-hour time difference and stuff. He needed a little bit of entertainment for that day. Then he could do his gimmick, this or that. But I forgot about signing the pay sheets as Honky Tonk Man, Wayne Ferris.
Ever wrestle Harley Race or Nick Bockwinkel?
No. On a lot of cards with him. Harley Race and Nick Bockwinkel. No, I told the story about Harley with the zap gun on me, and I thought he was going to kill me. And then Nick Bockwinkel, he was an agent a lot of times with WCW, but he was the great wrestling champion. He was a wrestling champion. He was more of a wrestler than a meat chopper, kick, punch, poke him in the eyes, back up and beg heel. But then again, he had the world's greatest manager, Bobby Heenan, with him. So when Nick Bockwinkel, when you worked in the AWA, which Nick Bockwinkel was champ for years and years and years, there wasn't that many belt changes. The belt changes used to mean something. But now when we're talking about 17 changes, like in boxing, Muhammad Ali won the heavyweight title 3 times. Nobody else ever did. There's 3 or 17, But anyway, boxing, wrestling, what the hell?
Patrick Young said, did you see the photo of Timmy Danger and Swerve? I don't know if you mean Swerve Strickland last week.
I saw Timmy Danger, but I didn't see.
Was he on AEW?
I don't think so. I think it was on his show, and he had somebody on there.
Yeah. I saw, Just drew a whole blank.
Now you're like me. You can't. You're trying to think.
Who did we cut off? Who did we lose internet with?
Oh, that was God damn it! I seen the
thinking of his nickname.
Yeah, Shooter. Yeah. First he's training with Susio, and now he's down with. I think he's with Booker T now.
He was on WWE as a security guard.
Yeah, that's right.
The other night, or Monday, or I don't remember when.
Yeah,
one night. Or was it AEW? I think it was WWE, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it was WWE.
Did the security? Big George says, "What do you think of Bob Backlund as world champion?" I never liked Bob Backlund. My opinion.
Bob Backlund was a great amateur wrestler. He was an NCAA Division II champion when he was in college.
Not the question.
Okay, I'm giving you some background because probably a lot of people on
they don't know Bob Backlund.
Yeah, they don't know who Bob Backlund was.
I'm sure most of our fans know who Bob Backlund was.
Okay, how many did know who Bob Backlund was, and how many did not know?
How many did and did not?
Yeah.
You want them every 29 people to put yes or no.
Yeah.
Yes or no in the chat right now if you knew Bob Backlund. And if you didn't, that means you're a goof. So don't put no. Everybody put yes.
Yeah. So what Bob was, he just did as Vince McMahon said to do. And he was a champion. And he had never even had a big push before. So they was taking a chance on that with them drawing. And I remember Superstar Billy Graham, he was the champ for like 9 months, but Vince McMahon, when Billy Graham was a champion, he told him he was going to be champion for so long, so many months, like 9 months or whatever it was. And pretty much that's exactly what it was. And Billy Graham was turning babyface. He got colorful and everything. But
look at this, Rip.
What is it?
Yes, I know.
What are they saying?
Yes.
What are they saying?
Yes.
What were they saying?
They're answering your question. Do you know who Bob Backlund is?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody.
Well, that's 1, 2, 3. It's not that many.
That's not that many. It covers the entire screen. And I can scroll up. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 yeses and 0 no's.
Well, there's always controversy when you're on Wrestling with Rip Rogers and Vaughn Lilas.
Yeah.
As you're always questioning.
All right, go ahead. Tell the fans who Bob Backlund was in case they don't know.
Anyway, he was the WW.
They know who he was. What did you think of him as champion?
I didn't like him. Okay, I didn't like him, but that didn't really mean anything. That was me because he was just doing the style that Vince Sr. wanted. No matter who you are, and if you're the champion, if the boss says do this, and this, and nothing else, you do this, and nothing else. In the meantime, I'm making you the champion. You're getting over more and more markets, and this is going to be good for the rest of your career, no matter what. So Bob Backlund did his time. He was a champion for a long time, and he made a lot of money. And he's etched in stone, just like Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales was, as the old babyface WWF champion.
Andrew Sanchez in green, and I'm about to wrap this thing up. Were you ever on the same card as Lou Thez?
Yes, I was on the same card with Lou Thez, and I wouldn't speak to him because in my mind, I'm thinking this guy was a NWA heavyweight champion. And at the time, you had to be able to go 60 as a babyface or a heel as a champion. And this guy had been around, and he was polite with everybody, but I wasn't intimidated. I didn't think I was good enough to even talk to him. But when that'd be like you're breaking in baseball and you're playing baseball with Babe Ruth, and you don't want to talk to Babe Ruth because you don't feel you're worthy of him. And that's the way I felt, was because I knew I was the shits, and I never thought I would stay in the business as long as I did here, of just talking shit and doing whatever.
Drew Wilson knows how to keep us on live here. Hey, Rip, how you liking this 80-degree weather? It's $10 super chat.
This is the greatest weather we've had here today.
Opinions on Monty and the Pharaoh.
Oh yeah, I watch them on the internet a lot of times. They're really good. I like them. They have some great guests on there. I like their opinions. As a matter of fact, they're over with me. I watch them as much as I can. This is as much as I watch Jimmy Cornette stuff, and that's probably the main two that I like. But then again, I like James. I like to watch James's stuff, and then God, I see the guy. I've been on his show, but I can't. The dark haired guy, this and that. But anyway,
I've never heard of Monty and the Pharaoh.
yeah, they're good. You can Google
They
them.
wrestling?
Yeah, it's all about wrestling stuff.
Oh, never heard of him. Ever work with Alpha and Sika?
No, I was on cards with him, and when I was living in Gulf Breeze, Florida, working for Ron Fuller in 1983 and part of 84, the Samoans were all down there, and they was always in fights, and the police was always coming out, and they had all them Samoan kids growing up, because this is when the one kid, he was advertised in WWE as being like 18 years old. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, the Samoans, they all lived in Pensacola, and they was always they would get drinking and have a good time, this and that, but they were all the Samoan boys, they was all down there together.
Thanks today to Big George supporting the show multiple times, Drew Wilson multiple times, Patrick Young, Shane Parks, all the top stars out there today, Rip.
It don't get any better than this, does it?
No, I'm just so glad you found your keys, man. I was worried sick.
Not as much as I was.
Oh, I'm ribbing you right now, Rip.
Well, I know that. Well, when you're battling health issues,
go to OnlyFans, or not OnlyFans, sorry, Only Wrestlers. RVD's Only Wrestlers. Check it out. See if you can get registered. I think you can register for free. Check out the Rip Rogers page. I think it's open. Don't know for sure. I got to figure that out. Check out Timmy Baltimore. We showed a clip of his thing today. Rip really didn't answer the question I asked, but
limping ain't easy.
Go check that out. Limping ain't easy.
What was the question?
What'd you think of Nick Nimitz saying, he would sneak into your class? I mean, you had other people sneak into your class.
Well, that was good. That was a plus, yeah. But I'd help them all. I'd yell and scream at them. But it was my goal to make all these guys, like when Nick Nimitz come in, he's not from there. He come in. He was an excellent athlete, an excellent amateur wrestler. He wanted to be a pro. So I took it upon myself, yell, scream, or whatever, some positive reinforcement, some negative, to get you to be the best you could be, and hoping I could help you in some way. And then so
you kind of copied the Army.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Anyway, I got my X shirt on. You got your hat on backwards. I forgot to bring my hat in, but we talked about all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, did we hit everything on your notes?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, good.
I ran out of notes a long time ago.
Thank God for the notes today, man. I don't know what would have happened to this show if we didn't have Rip's notes today.
Let's see,
Yeah.
The notes, 27 words.
Wow.
27 words.
I got 0.
Well, you're over.
No words.
You're over. You're
0 words. Learn to work.
I can't.
Learn to
I gotta
work.
have my script.
Have a good weekend.
This is the greatest.
See you next weekend. Thanks everybody for coming back. Nice arm, Rip. Look good.
Looked above average.